Hello, hello. Holy crap. I am exhausted. Just waiting for the rest of the live to show up. There. Cool. We can see it now. I can hear it. Public. And we will begin. Okay. Fuck, I felt insane for the last couple days. Anybody that watched my live yesterday, I popped. It's a blessing, and I'm thankful for the interaction that had. Don't appreciate all the energy and crap and struggle that came along with it, but I definitely got a huge inpouring of the dark feminine energy, and it wasn't vicious and angry, but it was coming through a woman that was trying to be aware of what was going on for herself, and it was giving these messages in this way she couldn't even see, but it was trying to expose itself. It was trying to bring this thing forward. So in a message that the woman who wrote it thought was, I changed my mind, the words actually said, to be honest, which meant there's something being lied. I didn't agree in the first place, that it was actually a no. And then it got into some perverted statement on the sacredness, that the porn thing that I was sending, the porn link that I was sending that I thought was very beautiful, destroyed the sacredness of sexuality in women, and why would she ever do it? So I saw this almost like coded message that she still to this day, I'm sure, does not even be aware of what she said, even though I tried to point it out and she just glossed all over it, and a bunch of hurt and wound and pain and stuff came out. So that triggered me. And I held so much space to try and get the clarity of what I was seeing and what was going on. And it was like every single thing was just like diverted before she even could see the words or to see the love I was trying to come back with and say, I'm not feeling safe here anymore. I'm feeling you're changing your mind, and you're changing, not being accountable to what you said. And you told me something, you won't even talk about it. And eventually I got so frustrated and I popped. And I'm not saying I got extremely angry, but I pointed out some very clear things to her, and I walked away because I wasn't going to be part of that game anymore. And I sat in this really massive internal struggle about how bad of a boy I was. And I'm 51 years old, and how I shouldn't do that. And I should have held better space for the woman. And I should have fucking just bent over sideways and went on my back and did everything to allow her to feel safe so we could fucking heal this fucking wound. And I saw underneath, and I saw something really ugly. It's just like I smashed into a million pieces on the ground, trying to satisfy all this shit, all these stories, all these beliefs, all this programming, all this crap that was put into me from the moment I was born as a child on this planet. And it's done to all of us, woman or man. And I'm not fucking saying women are bad. We participated in something together, and men agreed to participate and women agreed to participate. And a lot of really mangled up love came out of it. Because if you go back and you look at the roots of it, even no matter how demented all these things are, and these programs and these societal conditions and stuff are, they're acceptable to us because we're loving another person. But can you imagine a mother that loves her son so much that she has to control him so that he doesn't go into the world and get into trouble or be like those bad men or other things? It creates this, I don't know what you want to call it. It's like an entry channel of frustration and darkness where the wounds of our lineage come in through our mothers at our birth, and it's part of the requirement of coming to this planet. And it sounds ugly and disgusting, but we all agreed to be batteries. We agreed to be energy for this malevolent darkness that's existed here for a long time. And they perverted our mothers. And I'm not blaming women, not saying they're weak, they're not anything. They're the entry point for a soul to come into the world through a mother's womb, her creation energy, out through her yoni. We emerge only because of women. But women are so badly traumatized by the world. And I have so much compassion for the female experience. It would terrify me to be in the feminine experience, even though most of my life was lived from a feminine perspective as a man, because I never really felt safe being in my full masculine. Women have so many roles to play, and like mothers and sexy and doing a job and trying to be masculine and trying to do better and trying to support everyone and be safe and blah, 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 blah. And then the children pulling on them, all this kind of shit. I feel so deeply for the women. And I can't blame it, but I have to look at all this stuff and say collectively for all men that we're born into a human woman. And that human woman has been used by a whole bunch of forces and with the programming and from their mother and their father, and everything that's happened before them comes into this funnel and gets birthed into the world through every child. All those experiences, all that epigenetic lineage, all this dark shit that hasn't been resolved, hasn't been able to be healed, no light could be shone on it, is passed through the generations through a mother. And a mother does her very best to love that child, but she's so hurt and wounded and stuff inside. All the things that she was trying to protect in herself get handed down. So we gain this stuff so that somebody can finally clean it up and look at it and shine light into it and say, no more. And fathers do the same thing. They put it in at the next level because fathers join in a little further down the process. The mothering process happens. And then the father comes in as that masculine influence. And they're fucked up too. All of them are. And I'm going to conjecture anybody that thinks that their mothers and fathers were saints and the most beautiful things in the world, someday you're going to get to look a little deeper and you're going to see that they had huge amounts of problems underneath and they did their best. It's crazy to look at. I've seen underneath the veil on all this kind of stuff. And if it makes you uncomfortable and you want to stay in that bubble or whatever, go, please do it. I'm not here to burst anybody's bubble. I'm just saying the darkness, the control, the bullshit that's going here gave us no other choice. And it fucks us up before we even start. A man can't be a man in the world right now. The last several generations of men, the men have been diverted into war, into jobs, into all this kind of shit. And that masculine presence, the initiation for men isn't even there. And look at growing up as a boy, we're playful and fun and just like the girl children until one day we grow hair on our chests and we get erections and we become sexual beings. And in our societal culture, it's like, oh, mommy can't touch you anymore. Oh, you're a man now. And this stuff isn't even discussed. So like these massive wounds come in and all of a sudden things shift and it's like, oh, you can't touch us anymore. Oh, you're too big for that because nobody wants to talk about these things. I felt all these things. It's not purposeful. There is no mechanism to initiate a man in this world. So the mothers are doing it. The dads are at work. They're doing the best they can, doing this thing that's like support everybody and keep them safe and all this kind of shit. And we keep looking at this and men are in this like perverted, keep women feel safe, give them money and food and shelter over their head, protect them, hold on to our emotions, don't be violent, don't be angry, don't be emotional, don't be whatever. And we're sitting here in this fucking cage. And at the same time, women are in this cage as well. They're trying to feel safe and they're trying to be masculine at the same time, trying to be feminine. And in this fucking war that's going on inside, they don't know what to do. And what I saw underneath this, and please, please, please don't take this personally because this is being used against all of us, but I saw underneath women are constantly emasculating men to to have power over them so that they can feel safe for themselves. And then they sit there at the same time and they're beating and screaming this drum about where have all the good men gone. But to keep a man feeling safe to them, to keep them, they want them to be in their feminine. They want them to shut up. They want them to listen. They want them to be part of the patriarchy. They want them to take responsibility for every wound that's ever happened to them. And we're sitting here trying our best to do that, but we can't. It's not energetically even possible. So we're in this catch-22. We're in this nightmare mess of everybody trying to keep everybody safe, everybody coming from their opposite polarity, women coming from masculine polarity, men coming from feminine polarity, nobody actually allowed to be themselves and getting bitterly angry and then smashing on each other. And when you try and approach each other around sexuality, love, all this kind of stuff, it becomes this tangled mess of all these traumas that came through our lineage. And we're just channeling and passing it through. Not one of these things makes us bad, but we're playing out a story that's not working and it's making it 100 times worse. And like I said, in that exchange with the woman that I was mad about yesterday and all the women before that, they see me shining light into them. They see me holding them accountable. They see me talking directly about things, but it scares the shit out of it because then they think that they've done something wrong or bad and they have not. Nobody's done anything bad. We just participated and tried our best in this tangled mess of who's responsible for what and all these things. And really all we need to do is just step back and breathe and let go for a little while and start to allow this light to come through. Nobody did anything bad. This was a tangled mess. So much anger, so much frustration from the past, and all this lineage said, geez, men have attacked women and they've been the patriarchy, they've been controlling for so long. Well, I'm going to tell you right now, women are the most insidious manipulators and controllers of them all. And if you don't like that, you're one of them, because women go underneath, they control sexuality, they say things they don't mean, they'll hold men accountable to things that weren't even said, and then destroy us. And we're just sitting there like, fuck, what the hell can I do? And then eventually we get frustrated and some men get angry, and then the violence comes out and the anger comes out in a very uncontrolled way. And then rapes happen and women get violently abused, etc. It's all because this is so unbalanced, and we really need to stop and take a breath and stop living in these paradigms that aren't working and have a discussion and say, why did we say that? Why are we doing these things? Why? And you're going to start to understand that everybody's got this story in their head that they're all being abused in some way, or nobody's listening to nobody. And I saw under that, the dark feminine, the part that indicated this to me, did not want it to be that way anymore, but it was like trapped. It was like, I'm so structured and believing in these fucking stories, this bullshit. I don't know how to get out. So I'm going to send you a coded message in the way the woman was communicating to me. It was like, I don't read under stuff normally. That's not me as a man, but it's like a cry for help. And the only way she could do it is to have the inner woman feel like, make a message that says, I changed my mind. But the outer message was, don't trust me, I'm lying. When I say yes, I don't always mean it. And a lot of women have this story replaying inside, and it just fuels their patriarchy frustrations. I'm a woman and I'm abused. Nobody's abused. We're all getting abused by sitting in this crap and not seeing underneath it, seeing our rationale, seeing our past wounds that are coming up, and we're projecting them forward just to freaking carry on. And then nobody wants to look inside and realize and take accountability to their words. They don't want to be held responsible anymore, because it would mean they're going to have to own their shit. And I got to own my shit as much as anybody, because I've got wounds too. Even to speak about this was terrifying for me, because my wounds in my dark shadow masculine are underneath this. But I'm trying to be as loving as possible to be able to say my masculine, dark shadow masculine wants to heal with the dark shadow feminine by being really truthful, really direct, really holding in our accountability so that we can get through this. And I'm going to tell you right now, this is one of the last big, massive boulders that's been sitting on us as humanity, is this dark feminine, dark masculine game. And until men can really step up and be men and feel safe and not in our hearts feel like we want to protect our mother, it's been smashed into us to protect women and be nice to them and don't hold them accountable and all this kind of stuff. It's amazing. As we let go, we can be free, because this is a story that just kept going and none of us want to be part of it anymore. We're screaming at the top of our lungs and we're wondering why. All we got to do is take accountability, be direct with each other in the most gentle, caring way, release it. Marsha's stating gratitude, Ulu creative, and letting go of everything I experienced and replenish. Exactly. This is the thing that was an old story that created a bunch of struggle, strife, suffering, so that we could see it, be exposed to it, shine light on it, and move forward. It's an old, dark, dense energy that no longer serves us. And I'm going to tell you, as a man, I spent a lot of time trying to be safe to women, trying to please them, trying to whatever, just so that they didn't continue in this complaint. But I've actually got exactly the opposite back. Women resenting the shit out of me for being so soft, being so open, being so trying to make them safe. They want to figure it out for themselves. So I got to stand in my power and I got to be masculine. I got to shine a better masculine example instead of this wounded feminine, like, please love me, please, whatever. No. I'm now standing up and I'm being direct, and it made a really comfortable conversation. And I looked at it and I looked at it and I looked at it, and all the pain and suffering and stuff had nothing to do with what I wrote, because I was being so loving and open. But her wound, that fucking story that's going on inside that men are just trying to hurt or whatever, was replaying, and all this energy was coming back that wasn't even mine. But how do I hold a woman accountable? How do I keep her in her truth as we uncover this? I can't shake her. I can't. So I got to just sit here and write loving messages, make statements, etc. No, I can't be nice anymore, because I gave my nice away for so long and I got resented the shit out of. No, it's standing in my power and saying, no, you're not going to speak to me like that anymore. I'm not going to accept that paradigm, that archetype, whatever you're projecting on me. What's going on here? And if you're not happy with that and you're not comfortable with me being that way, being that rock, being that true masculine, I'm sorry. I can't be anything else, because neither of us will win. I'm loving us both by standing in that power, being as loving as I can be, and knowing that I have wounds, knowing that I have rage underneath, and finding loving ways to vent that, or being held space for by having a woman hear me and not projecting my anger or rage, but just saying, can you witness me in my rage? Because I'm really, really, really angry. And I really want to let this out and let it be witnessed that this was pain and suffering. And I want to hear yours. I don't want to be lopsided. I want this beautiful sharing experience to come out, and all this darkness and puke and vomit of the past will just blink away. And it'll all be in the light, and it's all out there on the table, and nobody can say, oh, that's hidden, that's whatever, this is ugly or whatever. No, we exposed it. Be done. Be done. Get the pressure washer out, rinse it all off, smile and shine. That's the dark feminine, the dark masculine. We all have pieces of it. We're all playing a role to go through this struggle, to see all the control, to see all the manipulations, to see all the games, to see all the suffering that everybody was having. And so we can rise out and we can engage in a new level of unconditional love, of sharing, and that unconditional love being gritty and sharing of pain and suffering and talking about it, so it can be once and for all free, not rolling in it and say, oh, I'm a victim or whatever. No, this is what happened and I don't accept it, and we're done. And yes, breathing in and out, that's moving the energy finally. How much of us are sitting there with 3/4 of our chest kind of squeezed and tight, and we're holding on to this thing because it defines us and we're not feeling good? Ooh, breathe it out. Let it go. Let the system relax. Let all the stuff that's hanging on to this self-definition that no longer serves be free. That's the dark feminine masculine play. They're all squeezing each other, trying to say, oh, I'm hurt, I'm wounded, I'm contracted. No, we got to open. We got to be vulnerable. We got to talk about it, speak. At one point, I thought it was ugly what I said yesterday, but many women came back to me and said, that was beautiful, because you spoke your truth and you held it with accountability and integrity and didn't blame, but you don't know why. So if it's not out on the table, it's this dark shit. There's dark feminine, dark masculine, but I'm calling out the dark feminine right now. There's elements of the dark masculine, and I'd love women to say it, but be it accountable, speak about it, share it, Give me visibility to it, and I will take responsibility for any part I feel is mine. And I can maybe reflect for me here. If you think I'm being too hard on women or men or whatever, reflect it. Only through sharing it and exposing it to the light is this going to heal. Is this going to dry up? And is this going to no longer manipulate and control how our relationships are, how we interact with our parents, how we interact with our brothers and sisters? Because it's all a pile of stinking mess that's all from this trauma that now is here to heal. And that's why it's so intense right now. That's why it hurts. That's why I wanted to die a couple times yesterday. Not suicidal, just I'm so bad. Geez, shame on me for, well, what's all this shit? For exposing something to the light. It was kicking and screaming. It did not want to be seen. But it is. I came here right now. I felt so called to have to say this, to be emotional about it, be powerful about it, so that we can all heal together. And this is done because I'm not suffering under this shit anymore. And I don't think you deserve it either, woman or man. So let's shine that light. When we don't like what we're feeling, when we're seeing manipulation, when we're seeing double talk and bullshit, let's call it out. Let's bring it into the light. And the person doing it might not like it. And men can be doing this too. If I'm sitting in my feminine and I learn to manipulate from my feminine advisors or people in my life, I might do it too. So I'm going to tell you right now, most men's in their fully masculine, the approach is going to be direct and it might be adversarial, etc. That's the dark masculine, where it's angry, it's not in control, it's whatever. The dark feminine is coming in behind and tearing down your confidence and other stuff by telling you you're wrong when you're actually right, and pretending that what they're projecting or whatever isn't real or true, so that we stop trusting ourselves. We all use it. I just saw it in this situation. It's insidious. It's part of malevolence. It no longer belongs here, and it tears down everything: relationship, love, self-trust, everything. And it's time to be done. So hopefully this reflection helps. I hope it was received in your heart, because it was fucking powerful for me inside. I want this to be in the light. I no longer want this to sit in the background. And share this. If this resonates with you, I want more people to see it. I want this to be done for all of us. I love me, and I hate being that little boy that I was kept in by responding to this stuff and allowing it to continue. And to step out of that was really hard yesterday, but I feel much better today. I feel much more in my power. And I think it's for everyone. So I love you. I thank you. Thank you for listening. Keep shining. We're doing the best we can. And this is ugly and gritty. So thank you. Love you. Have a great day.